There we go. Oh my god. Hello team. Welcome to the last live for the month of planning with me. We made it. All 28 days. Well, I say all 28 days. I know there was at least one that I skipped, maybe two. I don't know, my memory is poor. So there was at least one that we didn't actually get to, but we tried. Valid attempts were made for a complete month of doing live videos, which I feel like I've learned a lot. I feel like I have learned a lot about being live on camera, getting a little bit more comfortable with not being able to edit myself, having to kind of think more about what I'm saying in real time because I need to get it right the first time, or just look like I don't understand the English language. But that's fine too. If you can hear me, let me know in the chat. If you want to let me know what you're drinking today, then let me know that. Hydration is important, and I'm going to say that there's enough water in this for it to count. So tink, cheers. Yes, the last live. Perfection. Alrighty, so I can see that we've got some hellos in there. We can hear me. Excellent. So as the title suggests, well, actually, originally the title was As Me Anything because somebody can't type, but this is an Ask Me Anything type of stream. So if you have a question for me, just chuck it in the chat. We have some that you guys have already sent through, which is very exciting, and I do have some from Instagram. So we'll kind of switch between doing the ones that I've already received from Instagram versus the ones that you guys have here, rah kind of a thing. And of course, I might have some questions for you too, because why the heck not? And you guys can respond in the comments if you're here on the replay, or in the chat if you're here with us live now. Very exciting. So, of course, first question, how you doing? I'm all right. I'm okay. I didn't think I was going to have a staff meeting today, and then there was a staff meeting, and I was kind of worried I wasn't going to make it on time. That's the whole 3 minutes late thing that we had here. Apologies. But Monday went fairly well. Classes happened. Yep. School is school. I'm maybe a little bit frazzled. This being the last day of the month, there are still a lot of things to do. The to-do list is still very present and very long, but I'm hoping that I can get a fair chunk of that done today, and then we can enter the new month feeling kind of clean slatey, not quite so stressed. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Oh, another question. There we go. How did you end up starting your bullet journaling? So this very much goes with another question that we're asked over on Instagram, which was, why did you get into bullet journaling? So both of those questions, we can answer those at the same time. I'm pretty sure that the main reason I got into bullet journaling was based on aesthetics. Like I was very much in the Tumblr space at that point. I wasn't really so much on Instagram, and I started seeing all of these like really beautiful aesthetic journals pop up, and they were really just, people's people's to-do lists, but they were still very nicely set out and just that kind of like sense of organization, but pretty. I think that's really what appealed to me. So that's what kind of got me into it to start with. When I first started, the biggest name that we really had in the community was probably Boho Berry. So Boho Berry's style very much influenced my first bullet journal. But yeah, it was just that idea of having your to-do list be more than just a scribbled down thing on a piece of paper. It was probably the main reason that I got started with it. I will say that as we go through, if I miss your question, I do apologize. I will endeavor to go back. If it feels like it's been a hot minute, just send another message through the chat and I will endeavor to get back to it. So that was our first question. A second very important question was, will you really free Leaf today? So if you don't know, Leaf is our kind of like resident mascot, has been held captive. We will not be freeing him yet. He's still a prisoner. But I guess you'll just have to stick around and see if Leaf actually gets to go home today. So another question that came up a fair bit, and it kind of comes up a fair bit just everywhere, is the idea of how do you balance your time as a teacher, YouTuber, and everything else? And the one-word response is poorly. I don't think I manage my time very well at all. Have you heard of free time? Because I haven't. Have you heard of I don't know, regular sleep schedule? Because I haven't heard of that either. Very much a area of development for myself is making sure that I am balancing my time well, because I don't think that outside of being a teacher and a YouTuber, I am a very well-rounded person. Like, not in the physical sense. I'm very well-rounded physically, but like in terms of like holistic wellness kind of a thing, not so much. So a lot of the kind of time that I have outside of teaching does get dedicated to my YouTubing or to my kind of online life. I don't have a lot of time outside of that, and the time that I do have outside of that, I try and cram in as much kind of socialism stuff as I can. It is, yeah, very much something I need to work on. Obviously, what you guys see online, for pretty much anybody, not just for me, is not the full story, quote, quote. Not saying that I'm living kind of some big mystery life outside of what you do see. But for instance, the vlogs and stuff like that, those are like, it's like the highlight reel, you know? It's only the good stuff. You guys don't get to see the boring grind and the me editing a video at 2 a.m., kind of going to bed with like huge bloodshot eyes and just then waking up a couple of hours later to edit the next video and stuff like that. So it's not super glamorous. I'm trying not to sound like I'm having a bitch about it, honestly, because I like what I do. It's just, yeah, it's just, I think that people get an impression of my time being balanced a lot better than it actually is. So, yeah, anywho. So, having a look through your questions and making sure that I keep drinking so that my throat doesn't get totally parched. This also feels very odd because this is the first time that I have been face forward live by myself. Like, usually there's like a Rachel or a Vogel here, but it's just me this time. So I can't just be like, hey, yeah, you talk to the people, eats noodles, drinks drink. So, jumping to a question from you guys. Let's see. We have, knowing what you know now, if you could go back in time and start bullet journaling all over again, what would you do differently? Just like skip over the phase where I was using the LT 1917. Like, no shade. I can appreciate the LT 1917 for a certain style of journaling, but not my style. And not with how I feel about ghosting and bleed through and stuff like that. I would have probably preferred to have started in something like a Dingbats or a Scribbles That Matter, because I think that would have been more, I don't know, useful or like more suitable. There we go. More suitable for the style of journaling that I was trying out when I started, because it's not like super art heavy or anything, but the LT doesn't hold up well to any kind of coloring, I find. So that's probably the biggest thing I change. I liked the fact that when I got into journaling, I was trying new things, trying to find out what worked for me. I gave myself a lot of kind of grace to say, if I didn't fill in a page, that's all right. It's not the end of the world. So those kind of things I wouldn't change. It would probably just be the starting material, because when I started, the LT 1917 was the journal. I feel like its following has kind of decreased a little bit. Like, it's not so common, I guess, for people to start in that one nowadays. So that would probably be my biggest thing, would just be that starting material, because otherwise I think I did a pretty okay job. I at least started in such a way that I've stuck with it for, well, let's say it was 2016, so 2016 to 17 to 18 to 19 to 20 to 21. Yeah, so I've been journaling, for almost 5.5 years now. So I've stuck with it longer than most hobbies that I start, so not too bad. Alrighty. Secondary question we have from Deb. What is the fastest setup you've ever done, monthly and or weekly? And what is one that took you the longest? Did you like them? Would you repeat them? So monthly and or weekly, like a full month setup? Oh. I think that like my first ones that I used to do are probably the fastest ones, because, well, if I did them now, they'd be my fastest ones. Back then, I was very much like, we have to go slowly. We have to make sure that we don't put a line in the wrong place, because, even one line out of place is a fail. Not really, but you get the idea. I was a fair bit slower and a fair bit more careful when I first started in terms of those simpler setups. But if I was to do them again nowadays, they wouldn't take me as long. But they would probably be like my easiest to set up, simplest to set up. Possibly. I wouldn't necessarily go back to them because I do like to be a little bit more decorative nowadays. I like to do a bit more, I'm going to say like artistry, but not even, just like, doodly bits and stuff like that. I enjoy that in my planner now, so I probably would not go back to them again. I don't know, unless something happened, knock on wood, but and then which one took me the longest? Rachel's setup, that one page in Rachel's journal that took 3 hours. I'm never doing that again. I liked it. It looked very good. It wasn't necessarily my style though, because it was a recreation of somebody else's page. So not necessarily something that I was used to, which probably also lended itself to taking a lot longer. I probably would. I don't know, I like things being decorative. Like, I don't go hardcore. I'm not gonna like whip out freaking gouache paints and like paint a giant whatever to go over my cover page. It's not really me. But yeah. I could probably see myself doing both again, but it really just depends on the season of life, I suppose. All right. I'm trying very hard to make sure that I'm keeping up with chat, to make sure that I can see any questions that you guys send through. And again, apologies if you have a question that I miss, but I can see a couple here. Now, we had a question through Instagram about why I started YouTube. And I do have a separate video about that, maybe a little bit about how, a little bit about why, so kind of both. The main reason was because I thought I had some ideas that I wanted to share. Like, that's the main purpose that I have for my channel, is making different layouts and using the journal in different ways, and then sharing those ideas with you guys is the main thing. Kind of doing so as like a bullet journal educator. So teaching people about how to make the system work for themselves, and not just necessarily sticking to the monthly log has to be a series of numbers down a page. Your future log must be 2 pages that are split into 3 horizontal sections, kind of a thing. So giving people more flexibility, more ideas about how they can set up their journal. So that's kind of why I started. I wanted to share those kind of ideas with people. And I've been here for a while now. I was kind of thinking about it earlier today. I didn't come to a definitive number, but I've been on YouTube at least last year, the year before that. The year before that, possibly, maybe 4 years. I don't know. You guys will probably know better than I do. Alrighty, jumping back over to your comments to make sure that I don't miss any questions. Yeah, I can see some of you guys saying about like the paper thickness. Like, that's a big deal to me. Let's see. Very good. Okay. So going back to some of our starred questions that we had before. Let's see, we have, what is your favorite spread to set up? Is it the same each month, or does it vary month to month? Any month that I do a mood tracker, that is usually my favorite one, because typically with my mood trackers, it is the one where I get to be a little bit more decorative, have a little bit more fun with it. So that one's usually a big, kind of like a big fun point for me. But I don't use mood trackers consistently. So outside of that one, it might be something like, okay, I think the question here is like to set up, yeah? Because the actual setting up versus the using or the looking back on, that's different. Because like, I love looking back on a productivity tracker that's full. I think that it just looks so good, and giving you that kind of snapshot of the ways that you were productive in a month, that like, chef's kiss. Actually setting that up though, so boring. Ruling the grid, ugh. And then actually filling it in kind of becomes a chore sometimes too. But looking back, similar idea with the monthly habit trackers. Like, I love the look of a vertical habit tracker. I do not like ruling out that many lines. So yeah, I think the favorite one to set up would probably be the monthly log. And by that I mean mood tracker, and I'm confused. The mood tracker. Outside of the mood tracker though, possibly the cover page. Possibly the cover page, again, because it's a little bit more decorative. Yeah, we'll go with those. That sounds like it could be a favorite. Alrighty. Let's see. We had a question about covered in your content throughout the year. Okay, interesting. Will you be expanding the subject matter covered in your content throughout the year? technically, yes. I mean, I like to think that this channel kind of sticks to productivity planning and personal development. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, all of that. You know, the little part that I end my videos with. So obviously we do a fair bit about planning on this channel. We do a fair, like not as much, but a fair bit on productivity and stuff like that. I would like to develop that more into like other areas of productivity, and personal development I'd like to do a lot more on as well. How and what and kind of like mechanics of that, like what that actually looks like, I haven't really ironed out just yet, but the intention is to do more of that kind of stuff. So good question. Thank you for that. All right, let's see. We'll jump back to one that we had on. Okay, so this one was one we got from Instagram. What bullet journal theme would you love to do but don't think your audience would like? I am not sure. Let's see. Because obviously we did the BDSM theme in Rachel's journal, which necessarily not like one that I'm like not opposed. Like it was fun. Like I thought the little doodles were cute. But I'm not too sure about a theme that I'd want to do that you guys wouldn't want to see. I'm trying to think of even what themes I actually want to do. So we'll go into the long-term collections journal because this is where I keep my theme ideas. So there are probably themes that like I would like to do more than you guys would want to see, but I'm not thinking that you guys would like be like damn opposed or anything. Let's see. I've got like I want to do a sushi theme. I think that would be cute, but I also don't think you guys are going to be like super against that. I'd like to do a Daria theme, like the TV show, if you've seen it. I think it was an MTV TV show, which I thought was great. Let's see what else. I want to do a Spider-Man theme. I think that'd be really cute, but I don't think you guys would be really opposed. I don't know if there's any themes in particular that you guys would be really against. I'd be curious to hear though, what's a theme that you want to do, but you feel like you haven't seen it very much in the bullet journal community, so you might be a little bit apprehensive about it. I am a big believer in that we need to have more people doing themes that we don't see a lot of. One of the questions, actually, I'm going to pull it up because I just thought it was funny. One of the questions that I asked the other night on Instagram, because I was feeling curious, was I asked people what a theme was that they'd seen like too much of. They're like over it. They're completely sick of this theme and they do not need to see more of them, which was quite interesting just to read people's responses to that. So we'll see if we can find it. Let's see. Don't actually know how to use my phone, so this totally does not help. It's okay, I figured it out. Okay, I'm in the right section now. So things are going well. So the question that I asked you guys was, what's a theme you're low-key sick of seeing? There we go. Was the theme. The theme was the question. A theme that you are low-key sick of seeing. And people's responses to this, mainly we had like flowers and butterflies. We're sick of that. We are sick of, this one just says fucking flowers. Hearts and love themes for February. We're sick of seeing things like shamrocks for March. Leaf and plant ones. We had a couple of people say that they were sick of Amanda Rachel recreations, which like I can understand. There's like, okay, we're not throwing shade at Amanda. She does very, very aesthetically pleasing setups. But when we have so many people recreate her themes so often, it kind of like makes our community more homogenized, if that kind of makes sense. So we end up just like having, oh look, another rehash of lavender. Fucking sweet. No shade against lavender. Lavender is very pretty. This is your journal. Do as you want. If you want to do lavender, go for your life. We had things like people saying they're sick of the bulletin board ones. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. No, that's fair. People are sick of mushrooms. People are sick of like florals are just all over it. It's just flowers everywhere. Watercolor paintings. People are sick of plants in March. People are sick of koi fish. People are sick of coffee themes. People are sick of things that are in neutral tones, so light browns and beige tombos. Again, this is not me trying to like throw shade at anybody's journal. This is just what the community has said. I'm just reading here. Yeah, this one says leaves in March, groundbreaking. Too many Ghibli themes on Notion. This one just says like in all caps, vintage florals. So yeah, I like I said, I'm very keen on the idea of we need to see more themes that we don't see very often. I see like there we go. I want to see sharks. See, sharks are cool. Let's have shark themes. I love that. Lego. Lego would be an awesome theme. Yeah, let's have that. Ah, excellent. So yeah, you guys they like people love talking about what they don't like. There are so many responses. Like you can just see like scroll. So many themes that people are just like, I'm done. I've had it. And I'm pretty sure that like 50% of them were about flowers. There we go. So let's have a look for another question that we had. Another question was, I'm just trying to delete the ones that I've already answered so I don't answer them again because I have that kind of a memory span. Also, drink break, tick. Truly gorgeous. I love you, Coke Zero. So, oh, okay. What's your favorite video game? This was one that was asked on Instagram. The first one that comes to mind, okay. My favorite video game series is probably Assassin's Creed. Like, I just enjoy the mechanics of it. I find it really enjoyable, along with like the Tomb Raider series, like the new Tomb Raider ones with the non-pixelated character with the regular sized chest. So that one's a favorite of mine. But the one that like really stands out as like favorite video game, and it's kind of only a like play once, but still, Life is Strange. I loved that game so much. I love a game with a good story, and the story in that game was so compelling. There were parts in it like I was just bawling my eyes out, like sitting there just like sobbing because you get so invested in these characters. But that one was a really good game. I very much enjoyed that. Let's see. So, okay. We'll take it back to some of you guys' questions. We're just going to pick one at random. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one. What's that one? There we go. Alrighty. If A&O didn't exist, that would be a sad world. What would your go-to journal or stationery brand be? I'm not too sure because they're the only journal brand that I've tried with 160 GSM paper, which I do quite like because again, like we said, I'm not really in it for the ghosting kind of thing. What's the other? Well, we've got Notebook Therapy. They do 160, right? But I haven't tried their journal before, so the only one that I've tried with 160 is Archer and Olive. Out of the ones I've tried, like if I was only limited to the journal brands that I have tried before, oh, now it's just sad. Like, okay, journal brands that I've actually used. I've used the LT 1917. No. I've used Scribbles That Matter. No. And I've used Dingbats. And then Archer and Olive. It's not that I don't like... I don't know, I'm trying to say this as nicely as I possibly can. I don't want to come off sounding like a bish on the internet. More than I already do sound like a bish on the internet. I like the grid spacing in the Dingbats. I do like the grid spacing in that. I think it's got a nice... it's got 28 across rather than 26, which is quite useful, but the paper is a lot more yellow, which means that you don't get a true tone on the Tombos. So, not too pleased about that. I am kind of morally opposed to Scribbles That Matter, so probably not. And then the LT 1917, we've got the issue with the just the ghosting, like, would drive me batty. So I would probably have to try more journals to actually be able to answer this question properly. Say I'm a bad Bujo senior, haven't even tried enough journals to have an opinion. Alrighty, let's see. We have another question here, which was, what are your top tips for someone who is just starting to bullet journal? So I am going to give a piece of advice that seems to be controversial for some reason, because a lot of people go like, oh, start simple, just like start with the basics. And I personally think that's a shit idea. Like, okay, so Context is important. So my biggest piece of advice to somebody who's just starting out is try like all the things. Like try every page that's like sparks your interest kind of a thing. But one, give things time. Yeah, you need to actually give things a good college try to see if they work for you. Like just because it's been like a week into your habit tracker and it's not really working for you doesn't necessarily mean the habit tracker is not for you. Like it took me about 6 attempts of the habit tracker to find one that actually worked for me. That was like 6 months of trying with a habit tracker. Second thing is like do it with a lens of compassion. Like a lot of people start to beat themselves up if they kind of set something up in their journal and it doesn't work out or they don't use it. And they're kind of like this like defeatist mindset, like, oh, wow, okay, I can't do this. I haven't been able to keep my habit tracker. Oh, I didn't ever fill in my mood tracker. Like this whole system must not be for me. If I hadn't tried as much as I did when I started out, I wouldn't still be bullet journaling. I'm very much the kind of person who needs to experiment and try new things to, one, find what I like, and two, not get bored. Like, I can't do the same setup every single month and still be happy with it. Like, that's why every month there's usually something that's different. Like this month I'm using a productivity tracker. Last month I didn't use a productivity tracker. Last month I tried something new with my meal tracker, and sure, it didn't work out. I didn't fill half of it in, but that's okay. Like, at the end of the day, we're all just trying to find a system that works as well as it can for us. So I am a big believer in, if you are just starting out in your bullet journal, collect all your ideas, try all the things. If you are the kind of person who is going to get overwhelmed easily, maybe don't try them all at once, but do give them a go, all right? Like, I don't want to be the person who says, no, you have to keep it simple. You should only start with like the vertical monthly log and just write dailies and just use one pen, when it's not necessarily that got you interested to start with. Like, if you're the person who was interested in bullet journal because of the artistry, then just sitting there using one pen and writing a list of tasks and calling it a day is probably gonna like make you feel like this is a flop very, very quickly. Does that make sense? Right? I like the idea of people having a go at things. I like the idea of people using a lens of compassion and giving things the good college try. All of those kind of things. Yes. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully I haven't like vastly offended anybody in those supposedly controversial comments. All right. So secondary question. And by secondary, I mean like we're on to like the 24th question or something like that. Also, drink break. Tick. So, any advice for the artistically challenged? Practice. I think that, okay, when people say that they are artistically challenged, and this is not necessarily you, Hannah, this is just me, like, you know, calling it like I see it from some of the people who say these things. One, you shouldn't be comparing your beginning to somebody else's middle. You know, we're all allowed to be beginners and we're all allowed to be learners, and we should treat ourselves as such. And two, a lot of the time people say that their work sucks and it just doesn't. I'm like, if a doodle looks like the thing that you were trying to doodle, even if it's like a scribbly kind of mess of that, like it's still a successful doodle, is what I think. And it's one of those things that the more that you keep at it and the more that you trial and all of those kind of things, the better you're going to get at it, you know? I think that it comes back to that idea of people not giving themselves enough time to be learners, and not, you know, using that lens of compassion when they're approaching their journaling stuff. Of course, there are ways to change that. There are different ways to be artistic, right? So you don't just have to be a doodler. You don't just have to be a drawer. There is, I believe, a lot of artistry in knowing how to layer papers in a way that actually looks good. Like, I'm not a collager. Very much. I struggle with collage. But there is artistry in people who can do collage. You also have things like washi art. So people who take, different washi tapes and then like layer them together in a way that looks really good, or use them to make a picture that looks really good. Like, there is artistry in that as well. So it may not be so much that we're artistically challenged. It might just be that we're not using the art form that actually like works with how we are, if that makes sense. I also believe that art is a type of self-expression. So I'm not going to be sitting here grading your art. Like, I don't really believe in the idea of grading somebody's art, which is great because, I have colleagues that are art teachers, and that's exactly what they're supposed to do. But I think that maybe it's not so much that we're artistically challenged. It's just we haven't found the art style that we like it resonates with us. That is one that we can actually do, if that makes sense. Yeah. Alrighty. So yeah, stamps. I love stamps. Here we go. Question. Do you have any advice for someone who is trying to find their Bujo style? I've bounced between arty and minimal in several of my past journals. I'm like right there with you. So some months I kind of really want to go hard out on using color, and I want to get out my paints and I want to do a detailed picture of something, and then I turn around and do a Zentangle or something like that. I feel like I am very much yo-yoing between trying to find my style. I think it also is hard because a lot of us get caught by the comparison trap. I don't know if you guys have experienced the comparison trap. I can kind of experience it on like a daily basis. But I look at people's work and I'm just going to pick on her because her aesthetic is so on point. Plant-Based Bride, for instance, she has a very clear, well-defined bullet journaling style, I feel. She has a set of colors that very much speak to her journaling style, that kind of speak to her brand. And she has a way of presenting her pages in a way that seems consistent, even if she's not doing the same thing the whole time. Does that kind of make sense? I'm not there. I am still very much of a yo-yo, kind of bouncing back between trying to be more artistic, trying to be more minimal, and everywhere in between. So I don't know how much advice I would have other than keep at it, keep trying to find what resonates with you. A lot of it probably comes down to reflection. I think that reflection is a tool that is incredibly underutilized, and I kind of feel like people treat it like it's a dirty word. Because where was I going with this thought? I started reading the chat and now I've lost myself. Reflection. There we go. We're back at it. We can kind of remember things. We have half a memory. Like the memory of a teaspoon. So in terms of reflection, actually being honest with yourself and giving yourself the opportunity to talk through of the stuff I've tried, what did resonate with me, what actually kind of made me feel like the spark, what worked, what didn't work as well, because that can also be useful. What did I feel good in creating and happy with the end product and stuff like that. I think that it's also interesting to compare one's bullet journaling style to one's kind of lifestyle. Not like lifestyle as in I'm out there freaking, running around doing exercise and whatever, that kind of lifestyle. Obviously hasn't thought about this enough, but more the way that you style aesthetically in your life in other areas. So for example, I am very much I wear black person. If you can't tell, yep, that's pretty much the only color I wear. But in my journal, have I ever, once, done a theme or a setup that was just a black pen. So I find it interesting to compare these things, just as a secondary interest point. But yeah, so keep trying things, have some reflective time, think about what worked, what didn't, both aesthetically and in terms of functionality. Yeah. All right. So, will you do more frequent lives for all us that have connected this month? Pretty please. I am not opposed to it. I'm certainly not opposed. Obviously not an everyday kind of thing, because your girl's got to get back to doing those pre-recorded videos and she needs the time to be able to do that. I very much enjoyed these and I wouldn't be opposed to doing more of them. I just don't know what format they would take, because I know that obviously there are some of our creators online who are doing things like like weekly live setups or stuff like that. We have people who are doing a live Q&A once a week kind of a thing, so something more like this. It would really just depend on what you guys would want to see. I'm very keen to do some more of those live Quiplash events just because they were so much fun, but probably not on this channel. It would probably be moved over to my vlog channel. Haha, shameless self-promo. If you're not subscribed to my vlog channel, you could do that if you want to. That'd be really cool. But again, only if you want to. Yeah. Yeah, so I wouldn't be opposed to doing more lives. I just haven't really given a lot of thought as to the format they would take, and the frequency that they would be in. But I'm not opposed. I will put it that way. I'm not opposed. Let's see. So we have... Are you and Vogel going to set a date for your wedding? One day. Like eventually, at some point. If you guys didn't know, Vogel and I have been engaged for a hot minute. At least we were engaged last year. We were engaged the year before that. Must have been the year before that. So at least 3 years, possibly 4. Je ne sais pas. Oh wait, okay, we got engaged in 2019. Yeah? 2019? No, 2019 was a bad year. So it must have been 2018. 2018 to 2019 to 2020 to 21 to 20. We will eventually. But the thing is that I only have like 3 members of my family that I'm actually inviting, and they all live overseas and can't really get to New Zealand right now. So I kind of want to hold out and make sure that they can actually make it, because otherwise it'd be kind of sad banana. Yeah. Alrighty, let's see. If you could wave your magical wand, what one bullet journal item would you invent, create, change for the better? Okay. I would like a black pen that doesn't blunt, that has like genuine black ink, that doesn't smudge regardless of what pen you use over it. That is what I would like. A pen that does not blunt, that is black, that has genuine black ink, like not this half-assed dark gray stuff that some of them give us, that doesn't smudge when you go over it with another pen, and that dries quickly. Yeah. Fast drying, waterproof, no, everything proof. Yeah, fast drying, everything proof, doesn't bleed, genuine black, doesn't blunt. Yeah, that'd be great. If anybody can make me one of those, that'd be sweet. Thank you so much. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, okay. So, any advice for starting a bullet journal Instagram/YouTube? Because I tried starting and gave up trying to figure out camera angles and worrying that my bujo is ugly. No, don't worry that your bujo is ugly. Everybody's bujo is ugly when, they start. And also, like, sometimes I do an ugly page too, and I've been doing this for a hot minute. So don't worry about the aesthetics of your page. If you want to start on Instagram, my personal preference is for photos. I don't like reels. Like, I don't understand it. I'm probably like a senior now, and I just don't really understand how to do that. But I feel like the biggest thing really is consistency, isn't it? Like, that's the thing that most of the people who harp on about like growing on social media talk about. And finding a way to be consistent that actually works for you. So like, don't put yourself down for like a post a day if that's not realistic. I used to do a post a day. I used to do that very well, very consistently. And that really paid off on Instagram, because it is the kind of thing that you can post once a day and the algorithm doesn't get angry at you. Posting once a day on YouTube, though, that one's a little bit different. There's typically a little bit more time and energy that goes into making video rather than photo. That's no shade at photography. That's just, something that I personally have experienced. Yeah, so advice, I guess, would just be setting yourself a schedule that you can actually stick to, and then stick to it. Very, very much. So I would find that, like, I'm trying to get more consistent on Instagram this month coming. So the goal that I've set for myself, I believe, is either 3 or 4 times a week. It's probably 3 because 4 sounds unrealistic. Like last year on Instagram, I posted 40 times. Uh, we let that one slip a fair bit, which was unfortunate. But on YouTube, it would very much be like a once a week is usually the recommended amount by YouTube. They don't need to be amazing works of art. Like done is better than perfect always. Get yourself in the habit of doing it and then fine tune the stuff. Does that kind of make sense? Yeah. Right. So that would probably be my biggest advice about it. Let's go see what else we've got. All right. How is it different to set up a Bujo for Vogel versus Rachel versus giveaway as opposed to your own? Well, there's a lot less people to consult when I set up my own one. I also, for my ones, you'll probably have been able to see from the videos, I set up a lot more pages. Because I know exactly what I want, and I use my journal in more ways than, say, Vogel and Rachel use theirs. Like, I use more trackers and stuff. Obviously, there's more of that in there. Vogel and Rachel are also going with one journal equals 1 year. So theirs is very much like just a monthly, the weeklies, and the cover/quote page. Like, that's the format that theirs is mainly in. A giveaway journal, though, because I set that up to be a half-year journal, we have a little bit more room to play. So we have some space that I can leave blank for the trackers that they want to put in. We also get to put in things like the habit tracker and the mood tracker. In terms of the deciding of the pages for that one is mainly done on like a poll basis. So just kind of checking in with the JashiiCorrin community over on the Facebook group that we have and just seeing what they would like. In terms of like pages and that, and taking the most popular options there. Obviously, with Rachel and Vogel's ones, I just go talk to them directly and ask them what they would like, which, like we said, is just the calendar, the quote and cover, and then the weeklies. But yeah. It's also very interesting talking to them about the themes that they would like to have, because they're not necessarily themes that I would pick for myself, and not necessarily themes that I always feel super comfortable doing. And I'm not talking comfort as in like I'm morally opposed to doing BDSM doodles, more like I don't know how to draw a face and somebody wanted me to do MCU. Yeah. Which is a little bit different. All right. So I need to make sure that I'm actually filtering these questions out as I go. Otherwise, I can't keep track of the ones that I've actually done. Also, drink break. Tink. All right. What a great question. How do you feel about tracing? 100% for it. Love tracing. Tracing is great. I think that tracing is a really good way to add artistic bits to your journal without having to, be artistic yourself. Sorry, I got a notification and I have the mental capacity of a small teaspoon. I put my phone that way. Now I can't see it. We're going to be all right. Yes, I'm a big fan of tracing. I know that if you're actually trying to get better with like art and drawing, tracing isn't the greatest, but a lot of the time when I'm doing my setups, that's not really my aim. Like, if I want to get better at art and drawing, I'm going to be using my sketchbook. I'm not going to be doing that in my journal. My journal, it's more just like, I want to set it up in a way that is visually appealing and thus makes me more inclined to use it. So for that, yes, yay for tracing. I know some people aren't so much for tracing. I will say this comes with the proviso of yes for tracing, but also yes for giving credit where credit is due. So making sure that we credit the original artists of said art piece is kind of important. There we go. Let's see. I know that we've had a few more questions, so I am trying to make sure that I go through and highlight them. Oh, excellent. Not a question, but you used your prize Bujo as a work journal. And that's right. A5s are amazing. We love a good A5. For those of you who don't know, Monica was one of our winners from one of our many random games that we've been doing throughout the month. So she came and grabbed her prize yesterday. So yay, exciting. All right. I think that... Oh, there we go. That is a question. Have you ever tried collaging as a Bujo theme? Something like vintage look? I haven't. I would like to. I don't have a lot of paper. Well, okay, that's a lie. I've got plenty of paper, but it's not necessarily the papers that would lend themselves to such a theme. I would not be opposed to it. It was one of the theme ideas that I put forward for my patrons to vote on for March, actually, but they voted on mail/letters, which I think turned out very cute. So I'm like not mad at all. I mean, I put I put the list together, so I wasn't going to be opposed to any of the themes. But yeah, alrighty. There we go. More quiplash. Yes, excellent. Just trying to make sure that I'm keeping track of what you guys have been saying. So we did have a question over on Instagram about how long Vogel and I have been together. Sometime. Let's put it that way. We got together in the year that I turned, well, I say I, he also, we turned 21. So between him turning 21 and me turning 21 is when we got together. So that would have been, we'll just do by age. So 21 to 22, 23, 24 to 5. Wait. 21 to 22 to 23 to 24 to 25, 26, 27, 28, 30. So this year in September will be our 10th year. Like that will mark the 10th year anniversary of getting together. Yeah. So a hot minute, a little bit of time. There we go. Check it in with the comments because that is my job right now. Yeah, a collage of all the papers that have kept Leaf company. I feel like that would make for a really weird looking theme because like what? We've got some little craft paper baggie, some little red paper baggie, little blue, which I think that like honestly one of my favorite streams this month, and I know that it wasn't a question. I don't think anybody's asked that question. One of my favorite streams that we did this month was probably my desk tidy up, which sounds really sad, but I think that having you guys here to watch along just made it way more likely that I was actually going to do it in a way that was thorough, if that makes sense. I felt very, very pleased with that. That and the washi D stash. I think that having people here like holding me accountable, being like, no, Jess, you don't need to keep the ones that you're not going to use. That was very helpful. I also loved our Quiplash ones, like, and also any of the ones where we had like a guest. So like Rachel came in, or like when Erica and all the other guys came in for the Bujo live one that we did on Saturday. Yeah, they were all really, really fun. Let's see, going through starring some stuff so that we can answer some questions. So what is your all-time favorite monthly theme from your previous journals? It's anytime that I get this question, I completely blank on every single theme that I've ever done. So please excuse me while I try and think of literally any theme that I've done. I enjoyed the Moons and Mountains one, but I think the reason that comes to mind is because it was the kind of aesthetic that gets popular quick, you know? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was the kind of thing that a lot of other people appreciated, so it comes to mind. Mean Girls. Mean Girls was a great theme. I loved that. And I loved the Koi Fish one. And I loved when we did Under the Sea. I also loved when we did the Disney theme. That was fun with the kind of like watercolor-ish kind of one. The science theme was really fun as well. We liked the science theme. All-time favorite theme. I feel like we're going to have to do some kind of like Jess ranks all her themes or something, but I'm going to have like an official official scheme of how to rank them. Otherwise, I'll just be like, every theme is a 5, except for like anything on the blackout paper, because fuck you, blackout paper. Blackout paper is not for Jess. Bye, Sydney. Thank you for being here. All right, yeah, blackout paper. Now I've just like tilted myself and I'm irritated. All right, we have done that one already. We have... All right. If money were no object, what furniture / tech, etc. would you change in your office? Okay. I want... Well, okay, my office is a mess, if you haven't been able to tell. I've just realized that there's like a giant spoiler in the back of this shot. So, excuse me while I go and move it. My bad. This is why I'm going to get kicked off the design team, because I can't keep my stuff to myself. Oh my lord. As I was saying, my desk here is fine. I like him very much, but I don't like the fact that he gets messy very quickly, and he's not really set up for being like a proper bullet journal working on space. So what I would like to do is over there probably, because you can probably see the light streaming in, over there is a window. I would like another desk set up over there that I can display my bullet journal rainbow, which if I move this way, you can see there it is. The bullet journal rainbow. I want to be able to display the bullet journal rainbow. I want to have some kind of like organization system so I can have all of my pens on that desk rather than on this desk, which is my computer desk. I would like, yeah, I know the Refinery 29 spoiled that one, but still, they'll probably still kick me off the team. I would like to have like a proper filming setup over there that's set up so that like I can film different angles easier. Right now I just film on my phone. So I have like a little tripod arm over here that I can kind of position so it faces down. And then I have a like mini, I think he's downstairs, a little mini tripod that I can use to do kind of side angles if I want to. I want to have like a proper filming setup. Would be ideal. That could be over there along with that. I'd like to get some nice backlighting for these screens at some point. I think that would be cute. I'd like some better cable management, but this is all stuff that I need to think about a little bit more because my entire office needs redoing, honestly. As you can see by all the mess, there's just stuff everywhere, which is a bummer. It's something to work on. There we go. So let's see. Oh, I'm just going to highlight this comment because I thought it was nice. I like when you flip through and you're honest, not use your journal every week. Yeah, I think that that's kind of important, you know. It's all good and well to have these videos and these plan with me's where we set up all of these, you know, spreads that are as complicated as they can be sometimes, but there's no point in me lying to you and saying that I used all of them when I didn't. Like, not everything that we set up in our journal is actually going to work for us, and it's important that we let people know of that. That otherwise they get unrealistic expectations. It's the same reason why I like to tell you guys how long it takes me to set things up. You know, the best estimate that I can give because I don't time myself when I do sketching in. Mainly because I don't sketch everything in at once, so it's actually kind of hard to calculate. And I also don't do it on camera. So, yeah, I have better data about the time that I actually spend penning stuff in because I film it. So I can be a little bit more accurate in giving you the amount of time that takes. But I don't want people to feel bad that they're not using their journal super consistently because they think that everybody on the internet is or that everybody else is. Because they're not. Like, there are so many pages in my journals that just aren't filled in, or that are half filled in, and ones that like maybe I just kind of started the month and decided, you know what, I set this up with very good intentions, but it really wasn't for me. That's all right. That's okay. Oh, excellent. Very important question here. What it's for dinner. Well, it's not 2-minute noodles. I will tell you that. We're not having 2-minute noodles for dinner tonight. And by we, I mean me, because Vogel doesn't have 2-minute noodles for dinner. He's much more of an adult like that. I think tonight is lemon chicken. I think we're having lemon chicken for dinner. And if we are, I'm looking forward to it. And if we're not now, I'm going to be instantly sad at whatever we do end up having. All right. We have answered that question. What does your username come from? So I've gotten this question a couple of times, and it's one of those ones that's like it's not like a funny answer or anything. It's just a long-winded story. So my name is Jess or Jessica, for my my birth certificate name, and my middle name is Corrin. So JashiiCorrin is my name. But when I was in school, I went by Jessie. I no longer go by that. The only person who still calls me Jessie is my brother. But yeah, so then it was JashiiCorrin. In Japanese, so I used to take Japanese when I was in high school. In Japanese, my name isn't like Jessica, it's Jessica, like she. Yeah. So if you're going by Jessie, it becomes Jeshi. My mate spelt it wrong once. And so it became Jashi, and then it just kind of stuck. So I was using JashiiCorrin for my, like, every account I had online, like my DevArt account and my Tumblr when I first started that, and all of those kind of things. So when it came to YouTube and Instagram, I was just like, oh, well, that's my username that I use for everything, like with no real expectation that I would eventually actually have a little corner of the internet that kind of called me by that name. So yeah, JashiiCorrin comes from that. Let's see. So, very interesting question. Will you do a cooking vlog sometime? Because most of the dishes look really good. Thank you. We really want to do a Kai time with Vogel. We just haven't gotten around to doing it, and I'm like so bummed because it was supposed to happen during Vlogmas, and then Vlogmas just didn't happen. And I was really bummed about it because I had lots of good ideas for Vlogmas. So I've kind of just moved them all over to this year. So Vlogmas is happening this year. You can go pencil that in. Go pencil that into your bullet journal. You do not have to pencil that into your bullet journal. But we want to do a Kai time with Vogel at some point. And Vogel has decided that his first episode is going to be burgers, mainly as a rebuttal to a burger video he saw online that he was like damn opposed to. So damn opposed. So we will do some cooking ones at some point. Maybe not necessarily me as the focus, maybe more Vogel, but we had the soup one. The soup one was fun. The soup one was mainly as evidence for, soup bingo at school, which I described in that video, but still. All right, let's see. Good question. Do you use your bullet journal to help your mental health? If you don't right now, would you consider doing it? What would you consider doing? So I don't think that it's necessarily a, how do we word this? Drink break to think about it. Take cheers. One more for good measure. So mental health isn't necessarily my focus, if that makes sense, when I'm doing my journaling. And that's not to say that it's not important, and it's not to say that I shouldn't be focusing on my mental health a bit more. But I think that the main way that I help my mental health through using my journal is through things like my weekly resets. Yeah. I assume you guys do this too, but I'm very easily swayed to ruminate on things. So to get very much in a loop of I have to do that, I have to do that, I have to do that, I have to do that. But by writing it down, I kind of get myself a bit more out of my head, which is quite helpful. So I think that that's probably the biggest way that I help my mental health in that respect. I don't have any specific trackers related to it as of current, but it is something that I could do more of. How would I do that? I think it also because obviously we've talked about physical health before. We've done a video on physical health and spreads for those kind of things. And very much like physical health, mental health is multifaceted. So it really depends on what aspect of mental health I would like to focus on. So for instance, sleep is a physical thing, but it helps your mental health. So I have done sleep trackers before, which could very much aid in working towards that. Mental health. My biggest mental health struggle is probably related to stress and the stress that comes from having a lot to do. And that's why probably the first thing that comes to mind would be things like my brain dumps and my weekly reset kind of things. Monica's just gone and mentioned the self-care bingo. So I have done a self-care bingo before. That one is one that I've used and had a lot of enjoyment with. But it's also thinking about what kind of things that we put on the self-care bingo board that will actually aid in our self-care. So, getting out of the idea of self-care is taking bubble baths and pampering ourselves and stuff, and thinking about sometimes self-care is just getting your shit done, writing a list and then actually doing it. Sometimes self-care is preparing yourself a nutritious meal. Sometimes self-care is saying no to things, just saying, no, I can't add more onto my plate right now, which I did today. Self 5. So those kind of things. Yeah, just getting out of bed, like you said, brush your teeth kind of a thing. They seem like small things, but they are still things that do have a valid impact on people's mental well-being. So I don't know, just interesting kind of questions. Yeah. So those are the kind of things that we can kind of think about in terms of how we would use our journals to help us with these things. Soup. Hopefully that answers your question. I know your question was from a hot minute ago. I am trying to make sure that I'm keeping track of the questions you guys are asking. So let's see. Another question we got. So this one was from Instagram. Was there are always so many Archer and Olive releases? My wallet is sad. I think that February was a special one in particular because we had the releases associated with Black History Month. So we had like the B. Harris collaboration, and we had the skin tone. What's the thing called where you put things together? I'm not thinking collection. I'm thinking something else. Collation, I guess. Doesn't matter. So we had like the skin tone pack as well and stuff like that. We also have started having the monthly boxes each month. So we've had those released today. And yeah, so it was like all of that and the spring collection releasing at the same time. You've also got it falling on a month where we have the sub boxes coming out. So while the sub boxes are technically March, they are getting released at a very kind of similar time frame. So no, there are not always this many Archer and Olive releases. This just happened to be kind of a special month where we had a lot of things at once. But yeah, I think that how do we say this nicely? It's like FOMO. Yeah. And I mean, I know that I'm completely affected by FOMO. And that idea of like, oh, I got to get it. I got to have it. If I don't get it now, then I'm just going to be disappointed when I see everybody else having them and enjoying them and stuff. Like, we do not need everything from every single release. And I think that this very much comes from like knowing what your style and your aesthetic, for lack of a better word, is, and things that you will actually use and actually get enjoyment out of. But it can be hard. It can be hard to actually identify that for ourselves. So all good. Hopefully that kind of answers that question, that no, we don't normally have that many. And apologies that I keep touching my nose, but it's gotten like really itchy all of a sudden, and I'm trying not to like just full on go like ham on it on camera, but it's really frustrating. Yeah, hopefully you guys aren't just like, ew, why is she continually touching her face? Stop. All good. So what? Who's here that I haven't seen in ages? Oh, Olympia's here. Hello. It's been a hot minute. We like seeing people we haven't seen for a little while. It's like when, I don't know if you guys get this at all, but when you have certain people who comment on your stuff, like, I don't know, wherever, a lot, and then they just kind of stop commenting. I'm like, do they not like me anymore? Do they die? Like, that's like instantly the train of thought. It's like, do they not like me, or are they gone forever? Like, there's no like life got busy, or there's no like, they just didn't feel the need to comment on this one. It's instantly just like, oh. Let's see about your other questions. Twang twang. Alrighty. Oh, okay. What type or style of videos have been your most successful? So typically they are new journal setups, but I think that it's the new journal setups in particular that come towards the end of the year in preparation for a new calendar year. Those ones are usually the more successful ones. Also, just monthly setups in general. Monthly setups are typically the ones that are more watched, which is kind of the reason why we're doing more of them this year, because people watch them more often. Ones that have longevity, though, always unexpected. Let's go have a look. Okay, so should we take you guys into the I was going to say the backside of YouTube, but that does not sound nicely. Okay, we're going to take you into the other side of YouTube and show you some stuff. Obviously, like, take everything on here with a grain of salt. We don't want to kind of feel bad about anything or anything like that when I show you guys. We're just going to share our screen. Chrome tab window. We're just going to share the entire screen. It's just easier that way. So hopefully you guys can see that this is like the side of YouTube that I see. So when I go into the YouTube Creator Studio, this is the stuff that shows up on my end. So you can see we've got like a little kind of breakdown of my analytics and things like that. A little bit of information about my like latest video, like how long people watched it for, how many people did I have in there at the like highest amount of people and stuff like that. I'm just going to hide your questions so that we can continue to look at this. So if we go to my analytics, and in particular analytics related to what people are watching. So if we go to advanced mode, so in the last 28 days, our most watched video has been the March bullet journal setup, which is not like, that's not surprising, because it's a monthly setup. People are watching those kind of things. What is maybe a little more surprising is that the second most watched one was the pen swatching video. I think it might have been I'm not sure if it was the first pen swatching or the second. Possibly the second. I don't know. It was 3 hours long, but that's not to say that people necessarily stuck around for the whole thing, but we had a decent amount of time watched on that. Let's have a look at the last 365 days, though. So in the last year, things that have gotten the most watches. Okay, so we have the 22 layout ideas for 2022. That one got quite a few watches. We have my bullet journal setup. So like we said, that new journal setup video. One that has surprised me in particular is, can it be done? Can you bullet journal in a lined notebook? So that was one that has been quite popular and has kind of stayed quite popular, which is interesting to see, because it's not like a typical one that you'd expect at the top of the list. Typically at the top of the list, we'd expect things like the monthly plan with me's and stuff like that. So that's been quite interesting. 50 bullet journal spread ideas. So again, it's one of those kind of reference videos that kind of pop up and have longevity, the ones that kind of stick around and stay for a longer period of time. Minimal bullet journal setup, so that's another like yearly bullet journal setup. Then we have a 5-minute weeklies video, which has been kicking around. We published that in 2019, and that was my 6th most watched video last year, in the last 365 days. So those kind of things is quite interesting, like one journal in a full year, like, yeah. So we've got some reference bits, we've got some other stuff, yeah, and just kind of interesting. We'll put that away now though, but yeah. And if you guys are interested in seeing more kind of like analytics kind of videos, I probably wouldn't put them over here because that's not really the intended purpose of this channel, but I could do some of that kind of stuff on say like the vlog channel. We could do a couple of analytics videos. We could look at like you know, how my subscribership changed, or we could look at revenue if that would be something you're interested in, or we could look at like, you know, videos that are popular at different points of the year, or like whatever kind of thing. I like analytics. I find analytics very interesting to look at. I know that they're not necessarily for everybody, but they're very helpful. So I do not mind looking at those. And again, like I said, you know, obviously you will have seen my statistics on there, and you know, treat me with kindness. I don't want anybody coming for me about those. I don't think there will be, but you know, still interesting things to look at, I think. There we go. So what do you think of the idea of archiving? Meaning, where do you keep track of a lot of things to view over a year? Do you go back to past journals like that? So this is probably like part of the reason why I've started keeping a yearly collections journal, so that I can put all of those things that I would have to refer back to over the course of a year in that space, so that I wouldn't have to go back to them or have to like write them out again, kind of a thing. I don't know if I necessarily archive in the traditional sense of it, like outside of just putting stuff on my shelf. Can we see that? I can't point because I can't do backwards. Those ones up there, yeah, this top shelf here in particular, that end of it, those are all of my old journals that I've actually used. Yeah, so my archive is just that section up there, I suppose. Where do you keep track of things to view over a year? So yeah, I guess that would probably fit the bill for my my new yearly collections journal, I suppose. Yes. Alrighty, so Ashley says, how on earth do you juggle being a teacher, working in a bujo, and having a YouTube channel? So we did answer this question a little bit earlier, but the general gist of it was poorly. My time management is not as good as it could be. I am a giant fake. I just sacrifice other parts of, you know, what people would normally do. So like, rather than come home, sit on the couch and play Xbox or like watch telly or something, a lot of the time I'll be up here doing journaling stuff, video content, those kind of things. Yeah, what we see on the internet in terms of like my vlogs is kind of more like the highlights reel. So you guys don't get to see me just sitting here typing, editing content. till 2 a.m. or whatever time it is. But yes, I do not believe that I balance my time as well as people seem to give me credit for. But it's nice that you guys think that I have my life together. Alrighty, let's see. Another question that we had was this one's from Instagram as well. So why did you move to New Zealand from Australia? So we moved over to New Zealand here where I live. We moved in 2007 when I was 16 because my dad was given a promotion and he had the choice of moving to Jakarta, somewhere in India, or Wellington, New Zealand. So we picked Wellington, New Zealand. I say we as if I had like any choice in the matter. I had like no choice, this much choice. So we moved over here because this was the best of the three. And then after being here for like a year, because it was supposed to be a 2-year contract possibly, so after being, or like 2.5-year contract, after being here for a year, my dad was made redundant because they did like a restructuring thing, and he got another job here and then we just stayed. Obviously some of us stayed for longer. Some of us aren't quitters. No, they went back to Australia maybe about 6-ish, 7-ish years ago now. Yeah, to go back to Melbourne, and dad got a job there, and mum's doing her quilting stuff, and then my brother moved back there, and then he moved to Korea. Now he teaches English in Korea, but he's coming back to New Zealand in September, and then eventually my parents will move back because I'm the stubborn one and I wasn't going to move, so they had to come back and live with me. Which I'm like really excited about. I'm really pumped to have my my immediate family back in an area that is close to me so I can actually visit them. That would be nice. But yeah. All right. So what else did we have? We had a question of how do you stay motivated to bullet journal? So my motivation to bullet journal has gone through some phases, right? My motivation has seen some things. And there have been periods where I have been a lot less motivated to do it. And that's typically when I was trying to use my journal in a way that didn't really work with what I needed at that point in my life. Or I was like just trying to make a system work that didn't really work for me. And I'm specifically thinking about the Neapolitan journal. So at the start of 2020, I started in my first Archer and Olive, and I was super excited because this was the first journal that I'd used that had like that nice thick paper. And I don't know what it was, but I kind of like had this idea in my head that by using a journal that was like as good quality and like suitable for like heavy amounts of art, that I was gonna just be drawn to doing heavier amounts of art. I have no idea if this is making sense, but hopefully you guys kind of get what I mean here. So I had this idea in my head that by using this journal that was going to be suitable for doing a lot more decoration, that I was instantly going to be able to do it and like more inclined to do it. And I was going to have these spreads that were totally like 100% aesthetic, and I was going to be doing like watercolors and like painting and stuff like this. I have no idea why I thought this was the case, but I think it's like that idea that we trick ourselves into thinking that like the tools are going to make us better than the actual like skill set that we have. And that probably sounds really shitty, but that's effectively what I think it was. So I found that at the start of 2020, I was very much thinking that this journal was going to make me be more artistic in terms of my journaling. And then I just found it like wasn't the case. I mean, I remember that my first theme that I wanted to do in my new Archer and Olive was I wanted to do a watercolor pastel skies theme, and I just couldn't get it to work. And that's because I didn't have a good understanding of like how watercolors actually work and stuff like that. So that didn't really help. So I ended up that first month in my first Archer and Olive doing a black and white Zentangle theme instead, which is essentially the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. I really wanted to have this very like pretty aesthetic theme going on, and I compromised and I compromised and I compromised to try and get it to work, and it just wouldn't. So I just like was getting late in the piece. I needed to put out a video, so I'm like, fuck it. I know how to do Zentangles. I know how to use a black pen, so I'm gonna do that. And I liked the way that the theme turned out, but it was just like a kind of sour note to start that journal on. So that happened. Then I just like kind of started to get a little bit apathetic almost, like towards my journal. Like I just wasn't really using it consistently. I'm gonna go grab it because I feel like this would be a better story with visual props. Like let's get some props out. We need this one. Okay. So first of all, it was silver on the front, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like I'm not actually against silver. I mean, typically I usually think I like silver more than gold, but I think I've been lying to myself. So we got the Silver Crescent journal. Vogel got this for me for Christmas, so my first Archer and Olive. And I kind of wanted the gold one, so that was a little bit of a bummer, but I didn't have it at the time, so, you know, I was still happy with it. Anyways, so this first journal theme that we were going with was supposed to be pastel clouds and ended up being black and white. Yeah. Which, not to say I don't like it. This one, I can't do backwards on this. This one's a printed banner. Yeah. So printed off the computer, and then this one was penned in, which is very cute, but still. And then we have like, you know, Zentangle patterns. So things that I can do with minimal effort kind of thing. I know I say minimal effort. That doesn't mean it didn't take a long time. Like, but I know how to do the pattern. So it wasn't going to be like too strenuous kind of thing. So that was kind of the first strike against it. And I filled in my habit tracker, and I used my notes section, and I was using my weeklies pretty good. The next mistake I made was using the same kind of ish style of weekly for the entire month. So then towards the end of the month, I was just like, I'm fucking bored of this. Like this is too boring for me. Like I didn't have any color. I didn't have any kind of like decorative elements to use. Like I snuck a little bit of color in here. I tried to use my review. It didn't really work because it was just like trying to do something that wasn't really working for me. So then we get to February, and by February I was already starting to feel a little apathetic with my journal. I was starting to feel like, okay, maybe I've just like, you know, made some mistakes here. I can probably bring this around and try and get it to work for me. And I didn't dislike it. Like I thought that the theme was cute. It was a bit more involved than I necessarily needed for the start of the school year, but we were doing it. We just couldn't get into the habit of actually using the journal, like actually coming in and filling in my weeklies. I just had so little fucks to give, such little inclination to actually get in and fill these things in. So I tried a couple of different simple weeklies because I thought maybe I'm making it too difficult on myself. Maybe simplifying is going to be make me more inclined to use it. That didn't really work. I was like, okay, well, we like stars. Maybe we can bring back stars into the piece and do some stuff. We'll put in a sticker because that, you know, is an easy way to add some decoration, and that didn't really work. And then I was just like, okay, well, maybe we'll try again in March. So in March, I used that pastel color palette that I wanted to use, but I was using it in a different way. I used it in, you know, this dream catcher kind of spread instead. And I did find that in March, I picked up a little bit. Like I was a little bit more consistent in using it. My review page was a little bit more simple. I obviously used this weekly a lot more than I used this one because there's 2 weeks here. You can kind of see that. And then I went back to trying to do simple stuff, and then I tried a meal plan, and that didn't really work. So I was kind of just like shooting around in the dark trying to figure things out. Then we get to April. April is where I actually started to really use my journal, which is quite funny because at this point of the year in most people's journals, they weren't using their journal at all because this was 2020. And we all know what happened in 2020. People were stuck at home. They weren't doing anything. I decided to do a month of planning with me. So the month of planning with me was so super helpful for actually getting me back into my journal because it was like I had an accountability buddy. Actually, it was like I had like 80 accountability buddies at any one time, probably more. I wasn't doing lives, but you guys get the idea. So each day in April of this year, I was doing a video. I'd do a little tidbit about something. So I might do like a tidbit on how to make printed headers, or a tidbit on like how I budget. I do a tidbit on like how to make one page weekly, or like just little things, kind of little tutorials for your journal. But I'd also, as part of those videos, plan my day. Like I would fill in my journal the way that I would typically use it on a daily basis. And that really helped motivate me to actually use my bullet journal. So I guess the biggest tip for staying motivated in your bullet journal is turning it into a habit. Okay. And your habit doesn't need to be huge. It just needs to be a little thing. All right. The habit of actually just checking in. So like set an alarm on our phone, set up an intention for ourselves. Like at 8 o'clock every day at my desk, I'm going to spend 2 minutes in my journal just checking things off. That's it. Like, doesn't even matter if you get it all checked off. But just having something there that actually made me come in and use it every day. You can see that I actually filled stuff in this month, which was really nice. I actually got genuine use out of my planner and filled stuff in. This month, I tried to do a whole bunch more trackers as well. So I had like a mood tracker and a gratitude log and a productivity tracker. And again, because I was getting in every day as part of those videos, I actually filled them all out. Look at the most depressing step tracker you have ever seen. I don't know why I thought a step tracker would be a good idea for a month that we were closed in our house, not going anywhere. Yeah, but I set one up and I filled it in. So this one was great. I loved this. I used this very, very consistently. So April was great. May was pretty good. I used a theme that I really liked. So that was another thing that kept me motivated to actually get into my journal, was using themes that I like. I am so much less inclined to actually use my journal if I think that it looks bad. If I make a page that I do not like the look of, I will not use it because I am me. But it's that kind of, being honest with yourself and doing that kind of reflection helps you figure out how to use your journal in a way that actually works for you. So I know that I'm going to be much less likely to use my journal if I don't think it looks good. I'm going to be much less likely to use my journal if I make it too complicated to fill in. I am much less likely to use my journal on Thursdays and Fridays. So yeah, there are certain days of the week that I know that I'm not going to check in with my journal, or I know that I'm going to be much less inclined. Thursday's just the day that I get completely zonked, and then Fridays are the end of the week, so I don't want to do anything. I'm just like, no, I just want to sit on the couch and drink Coke Zero and just chill, I feel like I went off on a giant tangent, but hopefully this has been helpful. So, staying motivated in our bullet journal. Be honest with yourself, regarding what you actually want your journal to do for you, in terms of what works for you in your journal, and try and turn it into a habit, all right? Even just a tiny one, teeny tiny habit, right? I will check in once a day at this time, in this place, for this long, yeah? Implementation intentions, those kind of things. Can you tell that, this is the kind of thing that I get a little bit more passionate about? I'm actually in the process of writing a blog post about how to keep up with your journal. I do have a video about how to keep up with your journal as well, which could be helpful for some people who may not have seen it. Let's see. I don't know if I have any more questions from Instagram that I starred. We have a question from Tanya. So, can YouTube be a good source of income, and how does that work? It can be. I don't think that mine is quite sufficient yet to sustain me, but we're getting there. No, we're a little way off still. But obviously, the more views you get on YouTube, the more income that you'll make, provided you've reached the minimum threshold to actually get paid by YouTube. So to get paid by YouTube, you need to have, in the past 1 year, have 4,000 hours of watch time on your videos, and you also need to have 1,000 subscribers. So you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the past year. Once you have fulfilled that requirement, you can then join what's called the YouTube Partnership Program. So that's the program that actually allows you to get money from the ads that run on your videos. And I think it's something like 40% or something like that. You get 40% of the ad revenue. And thus, the more people who watch your videos, the more people who actually watch the ads, the more revenue you get from that. Also, different points of the year, you get better revenue for your ads. So typically, I believe it's like December. December mainly, because you have more people watching and the ads just pay better. So you can get more money that way. So obviously it is a good source of income for some people, but it also depends on like how much watch time you're getting and like if we think about it in terms of like effort in, money out kind of thing, like the amount of time and energy that you're putting into your videos, are you actually getting the views back for the effort you're putting into that? Because that would kind of have to come into the equation of like, is it a good source of income? Like, if we think about, I don't know what minimum wage is wherever you guys are, but like the amount of money that you get per hour at a minimum wage job wherever you are, versus like the amount of hours I might spend on a video and then the amount of money I'll get back from that video. Like they might not line up, but over time you build up an audience and you build up a group of people who watch your videos. So it eventually could be a better source of income. Hopefully that kind of answers your question. Alrighty, so do we have any other questions? Let's see. How much time do videos take to edit and finalize? What is your biggest challenge with editing? My biggest challenge with editing, we'll start with that one first because it's a little easier, is voiceovering, because I am very much the type of person who wants it to sound the way I want it to sound, which often means saying the same thing repeatedly. Like, Vogel kind of makes fun of me for it sometimes because he can hear me when I'm like listening back to the things that I've said on my voiceover, and sometimes he'll like repeat it back to me. I'm like, thank you. Yes, I know. I had to say that 7 times to get it right. I didn't need you to rub it in. So because of that, the voiceovering process takes me a really long time, and I don't necessarily know what to talk about either, because I don't really want to talk about like what I'm doing, because like you can see that. Like you can see what I'm doing. I don't feel the need to describe like, and now I'm doing this, and now I'm ruling this line, and now I'm, like I'll do a little bit of it, but I don't think that that's like necessary for all of them. But that is because of that, then I don't necessarily know what I can talk about, because I also like I don't necessarily want to talk about like interesting facts related to sunsets kind of a thing. Like, in my opinion, you guys didn't come here to learn about sunsets. Like, I don't know if that's a valid comment to make, but it is something that I think about when I watch other people's videos. When they start giving me like random facts about stuff, I'm like, if I wanted to watch a documentary, I'd just go watch a documentary. Like, I kind of would rather hear about like the why behind deciding to do certain spreads, and like why they decided to sorry, I just read Tammy's comment. If you change to an all music video, I will cry. It's okay. There is no chance that I will change to an all music video, unless it's like specifically a video that I've pitched as being all music, like the the real time plan with me of Rachel's 3-hour setup. Like, there was no way I was going to do 3 hours of voice overing, because that would take me literally like, I was going to say 15 hours, but probably more. It takes me a hot minute to do the voiceovering, because it just like the repeating of myself and then trying to find things to talk about. Let's see. Oh, sorry. I just pressed one, but Carolyn said great question. So that's sweet. I was trying to scroll and messed up. Okay. Question is, what changes have you seen in yourself during this month of lives? Drink break. I don't know. What changes have you guys seen? I I have probably noticed that I am getting a little bit better at reading the chat as I am doing the live, which is nice. This one is a little bit easier to do because I'm obviously not like head down working on a journal kind of a thing. I can kind of keep an eye on my computer and actually keep an eye on the chat, so that one's helpful. I've gotten a bit more, a little bit more comfortable with like, what's the word for it? I'm trying not to say dead air because that's not really what I mean. I've gotten a little bit more comfortable with not talking constantly, which I feel like is not what I've been doing in this video at all. I've been constantly talking for the last hour and a half. We've had some breaks, we've had some pauses. Because I'm very much the kind of person that would like to fill all of the empty space. I find empty space awkward. I feel like I need to fill the gaps, which is really great in job interviews because then I feel like when I finish what I'm saying and then they have an awkward pause, I'm like, oh, they want me to keep talking? Okay, I'll keep talking. And now I come off as a rambler. So that's not so great. But I think that the one thing that I have noticed, yes, I have felt more comfortable with the lives and being live on camera and not editing myself as much. And in the one video that I have edited during this month, really, I found that the voiceovering for that video was easier because of having done lives, which I think was a nice thing to take away from them. If that, kind of makes sense. It's because I know I'm the kind of person who does repeat myself and tries to make things sound perfect, and you obviously can't do that in this format. I think I've gotten better at voiceovering because of that, which is, a little bit interesting. Yeah, Saturday's video editing. Yeah, constantly editing. I was supposed to be able to release it on Sunday, but I actually got it up a little too late because that's the way I roll. Wah, wah, wah. All right, question. Will you do a live doodle with me? I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm not like a big doodler, I think. I like, I'll do some decoration in my journal kind of a thing, but I don't do a lot of doodling. As I said, wouldn't be opposed, but I would have to probably watch a couple of live doodle with me's to see what format that would look like. But yeah, not opposed. Do you keep a long-term journal? 100% I keep a long-term journal. I have had like 4 separate videos on my long-term journal because I've had like 4 separate long-term journals. Okay, I've had 3. So this guy here, this red one, here's my long-term collections journal. So anything that I put in this journal is the kind of stuff that would last longer than 6 months. Like it has a lifetime that would last longer than 6 months. So you see here, they're like, long-term collections journal. Does this thing actually belong here? So I have some questions or prompts that I can ask myself regarding that content. Things like, am I going to need or use this collection in 6 months' time or longer? Is this reference material that I want to keep long term? Is this a tracker that will be used for over a year? Is this a swatch for pens or materials? Will I actually keep up with this spread? So things that we have in here are like my collection ideas. So just like ideas for collections to put in this journal. We have my bullet journal themes that I want to try. People's birthdays, because funnily enough, year to year, those don't change. Also a space for holidays, which I have not yet filled in. We have my apocalypse, so effectively like a bucket list or things that I want to do before the apocalypse. We have ideas on layouts you can include in a monthly setup. Oh, hi, Vogel. What? What's up?
Stop it, Stoffel!
Stop it, Stoffel!
It's Stoffel.
It's cute. Thanks, Stoffel.
I thought you might enjoy that.
I don't know. Have you guys seen? I don't think they've seen the video.
Yeah.
It's
This
Stoffel.
might be just a meme for Jess.
it's just amusing for me.
We'll include a link in the description.
He says that. Can you stop promising things? Your what is it like? Your body's cashing checks that something. Like, I don't know how the saying goes.
Okay, so we're gonna watch Top Gun because clearly we both need to because I can't remember it either.
Your body's cashing checks? I was like, that don't have receipts? That doesn't make sense.
Guys, can you please leave a comment on what the actual quote is?
Can you just stop? Everybody says hi, Vogel.
Hello.
Do you want to come on answer some questions? Do you guys have questions for Vogel?
All right, I have to be quick because I gotta make dinner.
That's okay. That's fine. So if you have a question for Vogel, chuck it down into the chat so we can look at those.
I'll
But yeah.
come for a little bit. I've just stayed on because I was helping Will try and get his target this month.
Okay. Don't talk about Bruno, and by that I mean work, because like this is the interwebs. Yeah,
yes.
your mouth is writing checks, your ass can't cash. Thank you, Danielle.
Was it ass? I thought it was body.
Oh, excellent. Oh wait, no, it's ass. I like it better. I think that Deb says that it's body, but I
Yeah.
like ass better. So, ass. First question for Vogel, which I don't know that the lighting changes. Apologies. Can you go close your door? I'll hold your water. Your door's throwing me off. I look pasty now. I've always looked pasty. Let's not lie about it. Let's see. We're gonna put all of these questions down for Vogel. Okay, so Vogel's first question is, how's the finger?
I've got sesame oil on it.
It says on it.
Effectively.
See if we can turn this light off and see if that helps.
I've got
Ew.
I got some stuff from the pharmacy to
You
help
wanna come
the.
here?
No,
Just roll over a little more.
there's not enough room.
There's plenty of room. Stop bitching. There we go.
The disrespect.
The disrespect.
I was comfortable before, then you made me move. Next time you roll me.
Roll me. Move me.
I was literally turning. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, that's what you get. Anywho, so
How's the finger? The finger is improving, but I've got something from the pharmacy to help with the swelling. I have some form of wound that I forgot the name of. But the lady knew what it was. She's like, have this. But it smells like sesame oil, so.
So he has some like bio oil stuff to try and promote cell growth or something. So that's all good. His finger is going okay-ish. Alrighty, secondary question. Are you cooking lemon chicken for dinner?
Yes. But not homemade. I'm using a packet.
Yeah, we're using packet sauce.
This still work. I gotta cut some stuff. Chicken. I gotta cut some beans. I gotta cut some baby corn, and I gotta do some carrot. I'm probably gonna half-ass the carrot. A good slicer we had to throw out. I'm using the bad slicer now. But I might actually just chop them myself. I could probably just chop some discs. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, we'll do that.
I don't feel like this. Unless you want to cut matchsticks. We love some matchstick
No, I'm
carrots.
not. It's 6:10. I'm not cutting matchsticks. That's like a half an hour job.
Wah. Secondary question, and by that I mean like third question since you've been here, because numbers. So do you get tired of hearing journal stuff all the time?
No, not really.
Because how much do you hear my journal stuff?
You talk about it a bit. Sometimes I do play along, but considering how much I talk about Pokemon, like one of us is suffering more than the other.
I'm suffering. Yeah, I think that if we think about like balance of time, talking about our areas of interest, somebody's much more of a chatty Cathy.
I don't have any friends anymore. I just stay at home all day.
Aww. I mean, like, just because you're staying home doesn't mean you don't have friends.
I don't have friends I talk to anymore.
Yeah. Excellent. Let's see. Yep, there we go. We have Vogel. What's it like being Mr. JashiiCorrin?
It's like being a house husband because she's too busy, so she doesn't do anything.
So you know how we've been talking. We talked about it a couple times. The idea that me balancing my like YouTubing and teacher life and like being a genuine person life is bad. Yeah, he's the one who loses out.
Yeah, I basically don't have as many interests because I'm doing all the chores.
Yeah, he is. He's a very supportive house husband. But you know, we've talked about this previously, and we're like an hour and 8 minutes into it now, so we're just with the real fam now. But we did talk about it during this month, that I am looking to quit teaching. I am looking to quit my job this year at some point, so that then I can spend more time doing this and being a well-rounded human / partner, etc.
I would like that.
You would like that.
In our last house, I think it came to a point where when we bought it, it was very like both incomes, but I obviously got some promotions and whatnot. I was like, you want to quit now? Quit.
Yeah.
Quit tomorrow. I don't care. But I'm like, now we're in a new house and make sure we can pay those bills.
Yeah. So I do have to, I have to build up my revenue streams through YouTube and the other things I do before I can really quit. But it is the intention for this year. The intention for this year is that we get to a point where I can stop teaching, so I can be a better human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm being very supportive. I'm like, as long as you can pay the bills, quit teaching.
Yeah, pretty much. So we'll see. Fingers crossed we can make it happen, which is a great time to mention. If you haven't joined my Patreon, no, okay, we're not going there. But like, all good. We have a secondary, tertiary
can have that
question. Have you started playing Pokemon Arceus?
I have played this game, and I'm laughing because I think I have on record said it is the worst Pokemon game I have ever played. I personally did not have a good time playing it. I'll keep this short. I found some bits of it. I found it too grindy, and I'm fucking 30. I got chores, all of Jess's chores to do all the time. I don't have time to be grinding along playing fucking grindy Pokemon games all day, or any game. Any grind, so like achievement hunting. If it's not easy, I'm not going to do it these days. Not like back when I was a teenager. I also didn't like that the battle system was overly complicated. Like, I was like, I'm good at Pokemon, let's be real. I'm not amazing, but I'm good. And I'm getting my ass handed to me a few times.
See, Lily says, yes, he did talk about this decent time rant on his Pokemon video.
Yeah. I did rant on one of my YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Lily's
like your diehard fan, right?
Yeah.
She's your ride or die.
But pretty much.
It's Lily and Alex. They're the two people watching your videos.
I don't think Alex watches as much stuff as Lily.
Lily watches more.
And I will summarize by also saying I did get one of my favorite shinies in the game, though, so that has at least balanced it out. So I am pretty much waiting for Pokemon Home connectivity so I can like pillage it and then get rid of it.
Can we just do a tiny shout out?
Okay, who's shouting out?
Oh no, wait, where did it go? Excellent, there we go. Yay, tiny shout out to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yay.
We do like Cleveland.
We love Cleveland. Yay for Cleveland. This one's cute too. I like Jashie's smile when listening to Vogel talk about Pokemon. That just like kill me.
Genuinely ranted about it for 3 days to the point where Jess like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I've checked out.
But the best part was he's like, you need to be more supportive of this. I need somebody like on my side. I'm like, it is disgusting what they have done to that game, Vogel. It is truly appalling that they are making you do so much work. And then like a couple days later, I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really over it.
I just really wanted to like it. Anyway, that is my short cliff notes about why I don't like Pokemon Legends Arceus.
I like short cliff notes. Yeah.
Oh, I could go on.
Yeah, you can watch the full thing over on Vogel's channel.
Yeah, go watch. There's probably a Yu-Gi-Oh video or a Pokemon video where I rant about it.
There we go. Next question is, what does Vogel do for work?
How much should I say? This is the internet.
I mean, this is you. You can say as much as you want.
I work for the government. We can start there.
Accurate.
I work in intellectual property. If you guys know of patents, the thing that Albert Einstein did, I basically do the same job Albert Einstein did.
Yeah, so you're basically Einstein is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
The shoe fits.
The shoe fits. Yeah. Let's see. We have a question about, do you have a preferred printed planner?
I don't know what that means.
I mean, do you have a, like...
What's a printed planner?
Printed planner is like what you used last year. The Collins one.
Oh, yeah, that one.
So the most budget-ass basic planner with the most shit-tier paper. That's his favorite.
It because I don't like it, the Whitcoul's one, because it looks like it, but it's wrong. I like it because it has little bits. It has all the days, and it has a week on like 2 pages, and then it has like a notes field or something, so I can write like all the things I plan on doing on the week, but I haven't assigned what day they're on. And then cry when it gets to sundown I didn't do them.
Yeah, accurate. So, okay, my question is, do you prefer your bullet journal or your pre-printed planner?
It depends.
No, you're allowed to be honest.
I really enjoy the artistic stuff. I am not a hoarder. Jess has broken me on a lot of that stuff. So
yeah,
at the end
okay.
of it,
I thought you were saying that I had made you a hoarder. No.
So at the end, I probably won't keep it, but I'm thinking of keeping some of the artistic stuff and maybe doing something else with that, so I can keep those elements from it.
Or you can just give me it back. I'll just keep it. It can go be part of the shrine. Bullet journals I've had before.
It's my Christmas present.
Yeah, well, like if you're gonna throw it away, you're gonna like cut it up.
I'll cut out some bits and give you the empty journal back.
The empty shell of the journal. Oh.
But I think the worst bit for me has been when Jess hasn't got it written up, and I'm like, I can't plan things because there's nowhere to write.
So really, what you're saying is that the only problem you have with your bullet journal is the fact that Jess hasn't set it up in time.
Mhm.
Is the main issue.
It is also a bit thicker than the other one.
It is thicker.
Yeah.
That's because the paper's better.
Yeah, it's probably that.
Alrighty, we had another question saying, did you know that Pokemon Violet and Scarlet was announced?
I woke up and already had a message from my friend going, bro, Pokemon news. And I was like, all right, I'll check this out after my shower.
You don't actually need to read the blogs. You can just get Alex to tell you things.
Alex will tell me, like, when I beat Alex for something, it's quite a win. Like, occasionally I tell him something, but usually he's onto it before me, partly because I've been sleeping, and I slept until, like, bloody, like, it's 8:40. I slept until 8:40 this morning without intending to. I went back to sleep.
What an ass!
I'm trying to get up early, but I just don't want to.
See, this is why reason 87 as to why I don't want to be a teacher anymore. I want to sleep into 8:40. Actually,
nice.
just sleeping into 7:30 would be nice, but alas, here we are.
I'll ask you guys a question. What do you think of the starters?
Oh, okay. Well, for people who care about Pokemon, I don't know, or who know. For those who know, what do you think? Alrighty, Amy has asked, what is your favorite Pokemon?
It's a tough question. I think I'd still say Charizard.
Yeah.
But also, I do love a good shiny Rayquaza.
Rayquaza.
When he came out, I was like, oh, I gotta get this Pokemon.
Yeah, you do.
So, yes, I do like. I think that there's too many Pokemon now to have a pure favorite, but Charizard has historically been my favorite, so I would stick with that.
Yeah, I like this. 8:40 is sleeping in. Yes, which is kind of sad. I can't actually like.
My alarm goes off at 7, but I keep turning it off. I literally it's defaultly on, and I turn it off right before I go to bed because I'm like, fuck off. I don't have to get up now.
I don't want.
I'm in full lock working from home at the moment with the current pandemic in Wellington, well, New Zealand, I suppose, but I suppose there's a good there's good outbreaks in Wellington, so it counts.
Yeah. Let's see. So we had a very important question, which is, Tammy just wants to know what sauce you're using.
Lee Kum Kee.
Lee Kum Kee.
Jess put me onto it. When Jess and I started dating, her favorite meal was Lee Kum Kee lemon chicken.
Yeah, it was. That is correct. Nowadays, it is not. What is my favorite meal?
Sushi?
Yeah. Oh, good. See, he can stay. He knows what my favorite food is. Did you just pronounce Arceus different to Vogel? Yeah, because he calls it Arceus, but then everybody else seems to say Arceus. So now I don't really know what to believe.
Okay, so officially, we know it is Arceus, but I only learned that in Gen 7, and the Pokemon was released in Gen 4. So I'm going to keep calling it what I call it, and haters can hate, but I'm going to do what I do.
Potatoes can potato.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, we could just like change it. It's like Arceus, like Zeus, like Zeus.
What tipped me off was the fact that there's a Pokemon with the RKS system, which is clearly a reference to it. And I was like, oh, I've been pronouncing this wrong for like 10 years, and I'm not going to change.
Hey, remember what you used to call facade?
Next question.
It's very much one of those things of like, only ever seeing something written down and not actually heard it pronounced. Yeah.
I called it Facade. Let's move on.
Facade.
I didn't learn it in Pokemon.
It's fine. Monica asks if you like your stickers.
I have a favorite sticker.
All right.
I actually picked out one today.
Picked out a favorite sticker. All right. He's off to get that for you. So in the meantime, I will answer a question. Yeah, no. Well, yeah, but now you're interrupting me. I would have answered the question by now.
Oh, is that right?
No, so shut up. Anyways, so will we get hoodies/merch sometimes this year? Problem for future me is on my radar. Yes, we will totally make a problem for future me one.
That was a camera.
It's there. That's the camera.
Iron Man. That's my favorite sticker.
That's his favorite sticker. Yeah, you gonna put it on your journal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I very much. I cracked out when it said ages 3+, and I was like, oh, I am a child.
That's fine. You're allowed to like stickers. Stickers are important. I have like sticker anxiety. I can never figure out where I want to put something because I always feel like I want to like save it for a better use of the sticker, which is challenging for me. Alrighty, let's see. Next question was. Alrighty, what games do we play together?
We played Dying Light, right? We took turns at it on your save because it was so hard and we hated it. So
Yeah.
we just decided we weren't going to have one go and take turns.
Yeah.
We played Resident Evil 2 until the big man came out, and then it got too scary. And I was like,
scary.
my life has enough stress. I don't need this in my downtime.
That's right.
So I literally watched Markiplier play through the rest of the game and sold it.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely. We played Overcooked.
Yeah, we loved that one.
Overcooked Cause is the only time we have gone to bed and not spoken. Like normally, we'll have an argument and whatnot. We'll go to bed. We probably try and resolve it before we go to sleep. That one,
yeah,
nothing, not a word.
I'm just like, it literally tells you what we're cooking next. Just look at the fucking menu, and you're like, I don't know where to look. I'm like, it's in the corner. It's in the corner.
I can't handle that much stimuli.
I'm just like, just cut the fucking mushrooms and then give me the fucking mushrooms.
Jess is very organized, as I'm sure you know, given her entire content.
Yeah, given all of this.
And I'm not. So
Except
she's
over
like,
there.
you need to make this. And I'm like, all right, well, you're clearly better at this. You just tell me what to do and I'll be like a drone and just do it. And then she was getting cross at me.
Yeah.
And we kept fucking up the last level. So we went to bed. Like, she got so mad at me. And I was like, nope, not speaking to you now.
Yeah, that's right. It's over. We're not friends anymore.
So that was a lot of fun.
We play a lot of MCU together and stuff like that. No, not MCU. MCC.
We have played some Master Chief.
Yeah.
Together.
We played some Gears.
We played a tiny bit of Gears. We played Gears of War 1 and we played a little bit of Gears 2. And then Jess does this thing where she gets bored of everything. So you never... If you're a completionist, Jess is not your best friend.
Not
she
my best
will
friend.
fuck up your life.
Yeah.
So like,
but
we
like,
still haven't finished Fringe.
That's
you
okay.
guys.
No, that's not fair. It's not a fair statement.
It is totally
I
fair.
am a completionist.
Yeah.
I just take a really long time.
Like it gets to the point you have to rewatch an entire half a show, not half a season, half a show, because you're like, I forgot what the fuck is happening, and now Jess has finally decided after 4 years we're gonna keep watching it.
So why do we invite him? He's being mean to me.
Anyway, we're getting off track. What else have we played? We played. Sometimes I'll play Pokemon and Jess will play Xbox. Like she plays.
Yeah, we
a
have
lot
game
of
socials. We have game socials.
Game socials. So
where we just kind of bring our own games and just like be together and play a game. Like not the same game. But...
Yeah, occasionally in our old place when we had like our crapper TVs as well, we'd like literally set them up next to each other and be playing on
like bring
TVs.
the television down so that we could have the two tellies and then just wear our headphones.
At one point when I was flatting and they were all on holiday, so this was flatting with Jess and everyone was away, I think it was me and one flatmate, I literally rigged a TV up on our kitchen bench so that I was watching a movie while playing Xbox. Grinding for achievements. So like I said, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Too old for this. Too old for this shit.
Yeah, I am too old for that.
Yeah. See, at least people can agree. See?
Yeah.
Britt knows. Just lose interest in the things. Like, it's like when you get too much of the same. And you can't even talk because, like, he reckons that eating a bowl of pasta is too much of the same. He's like, it's all one flavor. I get bored halfway through. And it's a bowl of pasta. Like, at least mine's a television series that I've watched like 3 seasons of.
No.
Yes.
If there's too much pasta, yes. But also, like, she has 2 packs of noodles. And I'm like, she's like, do you want 2? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, isn't that not enough lunch? I'm like, yes, that's why I'm having something else. 2 fucking packs of noodles is so boring. Eat 1, and then you're like, I am so bored. Yeah. I do not want this food anymore.
I don't understand, because I'm just like, 2 packs of noodles is a meal. Like, you just have the noodles and it's done. But he's like, no, I need to have my noodles and my yogurt and my banana and my pear, and I need some crackers with some cheese. And I'm just like, it's not a fucking buffet. It's lunch.
Buffets are the best thing in the world, guys. Don't lie.
Buffets, okay, some buffets are good. Most buffets, they kind of just have, like, too much. They just have, like, copious amounts of mediocre food.
Pizza Hut, all you can eat, guys. Let's campaign. We'll bring it back.
No.
I know Rick and Morty fans...
You can't even eat it. You can't even eat Pizza Hut.
Rick and Morty fans got the Szechuan sauce back. Jess's fans, let's get... all you can eat Pizza Hut back.
I'm not supportive of this choice. Like, there are so many better things you can have all you can eat, like sushi and pasta.
Someone said something about shiny Charizard.
They did. People say some things about some stuff.
Yeah, very true.
Oh God, I can't press on buttons.
It's
I'm having
gone
some
now.
hard times. It's right there.
Is it?
Somewhere. I don't know.
No, there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, see, Tammy reckons it's still in Hamilton, the all-you-can-eat Pizza Hut.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, we were in Hamilton.
I don't know.
Oh, were we there last year? Year before?
I honestly,
before,
I honestly don't know. Question is, do you guys do Pokemon Go? I don't.
No, we play real Pokemon. Well, I do. She doesn't play.
Vogel's a Pokemon elitist,
I
so
am
he
a little
doesn't believe in it.
I have played Pokemon Go, but I only played it to get Meltan and 2 Mel medals. That was all I did, and I happened to find a shiny Venonat. That was it. The rest of it, I was like, I'm not interested. Not for me. I even paid money. Actually, no, I caught it because it was when we had that first big lockdown. So no one was around. So the only exercise I was doing was I was popping out Pokemon Go, getting the Pokeballs, and catching the stupid Pokemon on my walks.
It's better than me. I didn't leave the house like at all in 5 weeks. I didn't even go outside on the balcony. Like, no, diseases out there. I won't do it. That wasn't the reason. I just don't really need to go outside. I like being inside. Alrighty, team. I think that Vogel just got an email. Did we win Lotto?
No.
Oh, we have to buy a ticket for that.
My brother got free view on his Xbox.
Solid. What a good
and he
story.
Sent me an email about it.
He sent you an email about it.
I don't know if that's better or worse than a text. I think it's worse.
I think it's worse. Yeah. Anywho, team, I think that considering we've been here for a hot minute, we're probably going to skedoodle. But this has been fun. I enjoyed this. Thank you for joining us for the entire month of planning with me. As much of it as you did join, obviously. Like some of you guys only came in halfway through, which is fine. Stop. I'm gonna minimize this so you're not just reading the comments. This is where we're looking. We're talking to the people.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying the pasta comments.
But I want to read the pasta comments. Fine, I'll put it back up so you can read
come on.
them.
This person deserves a feature.
Oh, see, people know. Like, what? How do you get porter pasta?
That is so amazing.
Which one?
Monica.
Monica, where is Monica?
There.
There you go. My husband left a hotel in the middle of Italy because he had to catch a Mr. Mime. Oh no.
Respect.
Yeah, I suppose. So a request has been put forward for us to free Leaf.
How do you free him? Do you open him?
Yeah, you're just like that's it. Does freeing Leaf mean like letting him fulfill his destiny? Does it mean we can't murder Leaf? That would be a really sad way to finish our lives together.
Are you not doing lives next month?
I'm not. This is
okay.
a 1 month.
Oh, you guys are getting spoiled.
Yeah, I know, right? An entire month. So, in order to free Leaf, because I feel like we have to have a moment, not an actual moment of silence, because we're not going to do that. But we've been through some times, Leaf. You've been a hero to us all, the tiny adventurer that could. Battling the adversity that he faced in the face of being on the desk. No, because you're going to end up murdering him. What you can do?
Nice.
No,
I'll show you. Come on, let me.
You promise.
Yeah, I'll be a good boy. I'll be a good boy.
He promised.
Yeah.
Okay, be nice.
I'm gonna free Leaf.
I have so little trust here. No!
He's free, you guys!
Go get Leaf! Anyways, that is not what freedom looks like. Can't take this bitch anywhere. You're evil. Okay, so Leaf is going to be reunited with his family.
He's a family?
Yeah. He's the tiny Leaf Erikson adventurer. So Leaf is going to be reunited with his kind family, his mom, and his dad.
How do you know?
You look at their genitals. And then you count the rings. I don't fucking know. His sister. His second cousin.
Anytime anyone asks you guys, how did you know it's a male or female rabbit? You just go, I looked at its genitals.
I thought that was very reasonable. His second brother.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
His first brother.
You have a problem.
You have a problem. Throw in my ketchup. And his wifey, who has missed him dearly. Alrighty? So the family.
Starcade does not seem impressed.
Family can be reunited with the Leaf. And now the month of planning with me is over. All right, it's been a hot minute, guys. We've had some times together. Leaf has been reunited with his family. Now everybody can stop bitching about it. How much sauce do I have, guys? You haven't even seen the end of it. Like I have so many sauce packets.
We've got like a fucking container of this shit downstairs.
So many sauce packets. I like it. I like it. Yeah, see, there we go. Don't yeet leaf. Free leaf.
Don't yeet.
Don't yeet leaf. Anywho, team, if you have enjoyed the Month of Planning with Me series, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, or at least a regular thumbs up, or like whatever you've got.
Can I say a bit? Make sure you smash that like button.
This is why we don't invite him over very often.
Chill.
Literally kill me. So yes, if you liked the Month of Planning with me and you want to see more lives from me, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And if you have made it to this point in the replay, make sure that you chuck a tomato emoji down in the comments. All right. We have very much appreciated having you guys along for me learning how to do lives in a semi-okay way. But now it's time for Vogel to go and make dinner, and me, it's time to get another Coke. I'm out. Anywho,
I assume you're helping me.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, well, you finished your live now. You got no
I mean,
excuses.
I need to stay on for another half hour.
Yeah, here's the problem. You invited me and then wrapped it up.
Yeah, it was a mistake. Oh well. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.